Look, guys, I'm not a quitter. It's taking all of my motivation to open up this stupid Radish app and continue reading this super exciting story. I thought that maybe if I did an even bigger summary instead of getting hung up over the titillating non-plot, the giant gaping plot holes, and the fifth time in a single paragraph that Callie and Xavier fight and then almost bang and then fight again, that it would be easier for me. It's not going to help that this stupid app lets you read 2 chapters and then forces you to wait about an hour before you can read another 2. But, here we go, I suppose. Chapter. What chapter am I even on? They're all kind of blending together. Chapter 28. Despite the fact that the previous chapter ended with Xavier coming to take Kelly's blocked cave, we instead open with, oh look, Xavier and Colton are fighting. Again, about, you know what, I don't even care anymore, because it probably wouldn't be their only fight this chapter. So they're bickering, somebody makes a gross sexist joke, Lola's all like, I'll kill you. Actually, hold the phone, Lola actually attacked Colton and actually bit him. Good for her. But then the status quo is maintained and the narrative quickly shifts back to the usual drivel about keeping the girls hostage. I can't even work up any anger over the entire situation because it's gotten to the point where I literally don't even care. Kidnapping people and holding them hostage is bad, but like, damn. And oh look, they're fighting again over what just happened 5 seconds ago with Lola. Because this is what we've come down to, I guess. Except that even without even pausing for breath, the brothers then start to argue over why Colton purchased Kelly's block cave, which, yes, do tell. We've only been dancing around this issue for like 20-some chapters now. Please enlighten us. But Colton refuses to actually move the plot along, which is too bad, but whatever. Later, Kelly and Xavier go at it about Colton's poor behavior earlier, and then for some unholy reason, the point of view switches to Xavier, and we get the exact same sort of drivel, but from his point of view this time. Whee! He randomly introduces her to the door repairman, which is like the most exciting thing that has ever happened, apparently. Phil the doorman is clearly going to be super important later on if he's getting this much page time. And look, there we have it, chapter 28, and literally nothing else happened. The plot was not furthered in any way. Moving on. I had to wait 8 minutes before I could even start the next chapter. I'm more annoyed than anything, but at the same time, 8 minutes isn't that bad considering that I've had to wait an hour just to read the next installment. Chapter 29. This chapter opens with, wait for it, Callan and Xavier fighting. Over what, you ask? The fact that they've been fighting nonstop since they first met one another, because we've apparently come full circle, I guess. Now they have to fight about them fighting. Death threats, I'll take my money back, blah blah blah, nothing new here, move along. Their fighting is interrupted by Phil, because I told you that he was going to be important, didn't I? Clearly, this is a man who has seen enough couple arguments to just interrupt this one to inform Xavier that the glass isn't going to match. Trust me when I say that this is way more exciting than literally anything that's been happening for like 20 chapters, so I don't even care. Xavier continues to refuse to bang Kelly. Despite the fact that we're now in his head, the readers have no more answers to his motivation than when we were in Kelly's head. Kelly tries to get him to open up, to tell her literally anything about why he is this way, but he continues to shut down any actual attempt at conversation. He eventually let slip that he had a mate at one point, but she's obviously no longer around. Kelly then randomly starts giving Xavier a hand job. This apparently requires caps lock rage over how startled she is to hold Xavier's little wolf, which makes me certain that the officer is literally just 12 years old. And as Kelly holds Xavier's little wolf, he decides that now is the best time to admit that he murdered his mate, which, okay, sure. This one is making me wait 12 minutes to read the next installment. Either the app modified the wait time since I last used it, or something is going on here. Chapter 30. Kelly tries to pick a fight over how he actually didn't kill his mate. Xavier has to spell it out for her like she's 5, which she sure does act like it most of the time. He also heavily implies that him murdering his mate is the reason why he can't change into a werewolf anymore, but never comes right out and says it. I know that I said that I wasn't going to get hung up over plot holes, but like at the end of the previous chapter, Kelly had Xavier's little wolf in her hands, and there's never been any mention of him putting it away, so I'm imagining that the little wolf is just flapping around as they're screaming at each other about this. And let's be honest here, this isn't even the weirdest thing to happen in this. Kelly says that she's not afraid of him because he couldn't kill her as a wolf, 100% forgetting that he's probably got a foot on her and is likely twice her weight. She realizes her mistake when he tries to choke her. For the millionth time, this spurs the girls into wanting to leave, and Lola is back on the let's just cool their jets and stay here nonsense. But one time skip later, and both of them are trying to sneak out in the middle of the night. Lola slips some sleep aid she sometimes takes into their food earlier, and they're both certain that the boys will be knocked out. 10 minutes this time. Whee! In my defense, I did get up to get a snack halfway through reading the previous chapter. And of course the app crashed while I was waiting for the next part to get unlocked. Chapter 31. Lola and Kelly are trying to run off in the middle of the night only to be stopped by the creepy female twin Violet. She wants to stage a scene to make it look like the other girls fought her before they ran off, or else she'll get in trouble with the brothers. Kelly and Lola do this, although the thought of what they did to Violet makes Kelly want to be physically sick, despite the fact that they did this for their own survival and it was Violet's plan to start with. Lola makes fun of Kelly for feeling bad over the entire thing. They race through the woods and come to a road. Lola then starts to try and call for a taxi, but they literally don't know where they are. And this is like survival 101 right there, because there would be road signs sooner or later, and you just keep walking until you find one, and it'll make it easier to call for help. They eventually manage to flag down a random passing car and convince the driver to take them to the hospital. Lola spends some story about hiking and getting lost, except that the entire situation reads like the first 5 minutes of an episode of Law and Order. You know, before the girls are usually brutally murdered or left for dead on the side of the road after being assaulted. And then the guy intentionally misses the exit for the airport, and then I'm kind of confused as to what happens because I think Lola jerked the steering wheel away from him, and they crash into a tree as a result of this. And I kind of want to keep reading just to be a little bit closer to being done. I'm already bored with this, even with my speed reading and super abbreviated summaries. Nope, I'm done. Goodbye.